Good evening. We bring you the latest in the world of sports. I'm Paulo Del Rosario.
And we bring you the conversations you want to hear from your favorite icons and athletes. I'm Bea Diaz-Fabres. In tonight's Game Plan, we'll wrap up Gilas Pilipinas' performance in the 2023 FIBA World Cup Asian Qualifiers and discuss what's next for the national squad.
We'll also break down the latest in the PBA Governor's Cup with Tenorio as Barangay Ginebra notches back-to-back wins over the weekend. And we'll talk about the new era in the city of brotherly love. How far can James Harden and Joel Embiid lead the Philadelphia 76ers? Buckle up, sports fans. Let's get in the game. Gilas Pilipinas showed puso in the 2023 FIBA World Cup Asian Qualifiers, missing the chance against New Zealand after their win against India. Dwight Ramos, who we call the Saint, showcased how bright the future is for the squad as he scored 18 points and grabbed 10 rebounds. When asked how it felt joining the new-look Gilas squad, here's what he had to say.
Along with the new coaches, Coach Chat, I was really excited to see finally play under him. I remember he put me in the 23 for 23 list, so that was way back when I was in the States. So I was really excited to finally play under him.
Meanwhile, another rising Gilas star player, 30 Ravenna, who we don't call the Saint, who made 23 big points against the Tall Blacks, talked about the challenges of having limited time to prepare for this window.
Yeah, I mean, there's challenges, but at the end of the day, there's no excuse when you play for your country na kahit anong mangyari sa laro, ibibigay mo lahat. So, yun, para sa akin, it's just another challenge na we have to overcome. And challenges like these are, you face it every time, especially as a professional. You have to be able to adapt very quickly to certain systems, even if it's new.
Now, to help us discuss the bright spots from the FIBA World Cup Asian Qualifiers and what's next for Gilas Pilipinas, we have former national team star, the General himself, Tenorio. Welcome back to the game.
Hi, LA.
Hi,
Good evening.
Good
All right.
evening, Pao. Good evening, Bea.
Let's start first. Okay, aminin na natin, that is not the result that we wanted, not the performance that we wanted. Natambakan tayo ng New Zealand in our final game, but there were some bright spots to look at. In particular, two players in 30 Ravenna and Dwight Ramos. So nakita mo sila, the type of game that they played, their confidence despite yung age nila. Ano masasabi mo sa laro nila?
Well, definitely, obviously, no, yung future ng Philippine basketball is sobrang ang taas ng level, no. Two players pa lang yan. That's 30 and Dwight, no. Maganda ang future, of course, ng team. But again, dalawa pa lang yung nakikita natin na maging leaders or probably sila yung mga cornerstone ngayon ng national team. Dalawang players pala yung nakikita natin. And alam naman natin na pagdating sa national team or sa international competition is we need more 30s and Dwight, diba? Na mga players, no? And especially yun nga, yung katulad ng sinabi ni Dwight and ni 30 kanina dun sa interview, the commitment diba, na yung mga players and of course we saw how they really struggled during these two games, no. Actually, even against India, medyo nag-struggle din sila as a team nung una kasi nga the most important thing with the international competition, and this is based on my experience, is really the preparation, no. It's unfair dun sa team ngayon na naglaro na i-grade natin kung ano yung kung paano sila nag-perform for this window, no. It's really the preparation itong nakalaban nila na dalawang teams, for sure months or probably years na sila magkakasama and preparing for every window, diba? And syempre yung mga ganyan situation is beyond our control, diba? Yung mga ganyan, yung mga players. But to be fair to the team, I mean, we cannot assess them na ganun yung performance nila. And titingnan natin na yung future ng Philippine basketball pa rin. On the brighter side, katulad nga ng sinabi mo, Pao, sobrang taas din because of the quality of Dwight Ramos and Terdy Ravena.
Well, LA, we know it was a tough loss, and we do know that really time and preparation was not on our side. But we do have a few months to prepare for the SEA Games, and it was already announced that the UAAP players will not be available because they will be in season. So, matanong lang namin, LA, no? So, if you're given a chance to play one more time para sa Gilas, Pilipinas, oo ka ba, LA?
Oo naman. Actually, kung talagang tatawagin pa ako, di ba? Siguro, yun na yung katulad ng sinabi ko last time, yung SEA Games, yung huling laro namin na tournament with the national team. Baka yun na yung last ko, but given the opportunity, why not? Diba? Kung talagang kailangan pa nila ako. Any help na pwede kong gawin, I'm open. Pag sinabihan ako, ay lahat naman nandun sa staff ng national team, kilala ko naman at nakasama ko na for the longest time.
Well, we're hoping and we're eager na siguro maybe if there's another chance to see you in the national team jersey, it might be sooner rather than later. Pero LA, just to go back to this team at yung development, we talked about yung future nga ng team with Thirdy and Dwight. But then, only 2 players so far. Is there a type of player that you think that Gilas Pilipinas needs to be able to be more competitive? You were talking a bit off the air, maybe a more dominant naturalized player, maybe a shooter. Pero para sa'yo, ano yung pinaka-pressing na need ng Gilas Pilipinas if they want to be more competitive on the world stage?
Sa tingin ko, kailangan natin is really shooters, legitimate shooters. No? With regards to the international competition, yan talaga ang pinaka-importante to spread out the floor for the team. No? We really need shooters. And of course, mga physical na mga forwards and centers that can shoot perimeters also. Kasi ganun na yung laro sa international, di ba? And so we can match up also if we're taller and bigger, di ba? So I think kailangan natin ng mga players like si Nakay, di ba? Yung mga like Tamayo, 'di ba, na ma-develop talaga natin for the future, for the future of Philippine basketball. And marami pa namang oras 'di ba? Marami pang bata diyan na pwede natin i-develop. It's just a matter of time, and again, how we gather all those players and make it really a team, 'di ba? And na makapag-compete pagdating ng time na kailangan mag-compete sila.
Grabe yung wishlist natin, no? Just to make sure that we're competitive.
Sana mangyari yun.
Sana nga,
diba?
Sana nga. Pero LA, don't go away because after the break, we'll shift over to the PBAS. Barangay Ginebra returns to their winning ways courtesy of an epic comeback over the weekend. Stay tuned. You're watching The Game. Welcome back to the game. After a rocky start in the Governor's Cup, Barangay Ginebra secured back-to-back wins after an epic comeback against the Tenorio Jeep. Justin Brownlee led the way in scoring, but it was Scotty Thompson who dropped a triple-double to secure the 22-point comeback win. Ginebra is now 6th in the standings after their 3rd straight victory. Joining us to talk about the recent game and the return to the win column, 4-time PBA Finals MVP, the General himself, L.A. Tenorio. Alam mo, grabe talaga LA. It's like every time we introduce you, may bagong accolade. Kasi ang dami mong accolade talaga eh.
Ang daming pwedeng sabihin.
Ang daming pwedeng sabihin. Pero LA, 2-game winning streak after what was, sabihin na natin, a very subpar first half against Terra Firma Jeep just the other day. Ano nangyari in between the first half and the second half? And parang nagising kayo and you guys remembered what you guys normally could do at playing to yung potential ninyo.
Well, obviously nung first half talaga medyo hindi kami, we didn't start strong. Binigyan namin we gave them really the confidence going to the lahat ng tira nila talagang sumushoot kasi we didn't play our normal game on the defensive end, no? So our offense also suffered. Syempre pag nakaka-shoot yung kalaban, parang ang tendency talaga ng kabilang team is to parang out of control, no? And gusto kagad bumawi. So ganun na nangyari sa amin no first half. And then at the same time, they're making all their shots. So nahirapan kami. So we end up down by 21 points, I think, during the halftime. And during the halftime, it was really bad in the locker room. And ano talaga it was a must-win game for us. So after that first half, we talked about it. Nag-usap-usap kami, and we really have to have the sense of urgency. And I told the guys, just continue playing, one step at a time. Yun lang ginawa namin, is go back to basics, kung ano yung successful na ginagawa natin, kung ano yung magandang ginagawa natin for the past games, and what we do in practice, just do it this half. Yun lang ang sinabi ko sa kanila actually. So it's parang nagkaroon lang kami ng sense of urgency, no? Kasi it was really a must-win game for us to have a chance to still reach the top 4. No?
Well, after that halftime break talagang we saw the tables turn for Ginebra, and one of the biggest spark plugs in that game was Scotty Thompson. He had a triple-double. It's actually his first in the past 3 seasons. LA, nagugulat ka pa ba sa laro ni Scotty Thompson pag ganon yung laro niya katulad ng game nyo versus Terra Firma?
Well, to be honest, I'm not surprised na nagagawa ni Scotty. And actually, I'm expecting na every game maka-triple-double siya the way he plays, diba? But the most important thing last game about Scotty was yung aggressiveness niya offensively, not only defensively, no? I think yun yung malaking factor para sa amin. When he do that, kasi mas napapadali sa amin yung trabaho namin ni Justin, ni Japet, no? When he creates for us sa team, no? So, nangyari kasi no first half, masyado kaming, because we were shocked by the shooting of Terra Firma during the first half. Para naging tentative naman kami, natakot kami na shumot na. Diba? So, during the second half, si Scotty made parang siya yung nagsimula nung run talaga na nilaro lang niya kung ano yung usual na laro niya. So, it was big for us. What Scotty did was really an heroic para sa amin sa buong team. And hindi madali yung ginawa niya actually.
Yeah, that's true.
Hindi madali. All his rebounds and all his assists and points was hard won talaga.
LA, one of the biggest problems of the team was arguably inconsistency ninyo against stringing wins back-to-back. And unfortunately, the teams that you did beat were the teams, siguro on paper, you were expected to beat. Pero how do you continue this momentum against teams that, at least on paper, would match up better against you and, of course, perhaps maybe be even favored against yung team ninyo?
Actually, this weekend's game, nagkaroon kami ng parang reflection. We played really well first half during the Blackwater game, which was the Friday's game. And we played the very good game in the second half during the Terra Firma game. If yun yung siguro on the brighter spot, yun yung tinitingnan namin na if we continue to do what we did the first half of the Blackwater and the second half of the Terra Firma, I think babalik na yung rhythm namin. Yes, you're right. We're playing like inconsistent basketball right now. Everyone in the team. Since we're trying new things in the team, and especially the coaching staff are trying to do some new things in the team. But still, at the end of the day, it's really the players inside the court or the 15-man players in the team that na kailangan gawin kung ano yung mga pinapagawa ng coach and for us to be successful, di ba? So, nasa sa amin din yun for us to buy into that system, di ba? So, but now it's really hard. We're very inconsistent, but at least this weekend nagkaroon kami ng reflection na what we did in the first half of the Blackwater game and what we did in the second half of the Terra Firma game. We combine it, and I'm sure we're gonna be okay, and I'm sure we're gonna be on the right spot, pagdating sa playoffs.
LA, you mentioned about bright spots, and with that 2-game winning streak, aside from that, another bright spot is that we have Sydney Onwuberek going back into action. Now, initially, sabi nga nila, diba, na he will miss the whole conference, but he saw limited action in the past 2 games. So far, in terms of your practices, LA, kapusta na ba yung recovery ni Sydney, and will we be expecting more time of action for him in the upcoming games?
Actually, I was surprised na nakapaglaro siya yung Blackwater game. I think he practiced with us, I think 2 days lang before the Blackwater game on Friday. And he did well. I mean, he played well during the Blackwater game. That's why he had his time again during the Terra Firma game. And it's a big addition to our team, si Sydney. Noong una pa lang na nakuha namin siya, alam namin na may malaking impact siya sa amin with his physicality, yung toughness niya. He can shoot outside, he can defend imports also. So, malaking bagay siya sa amin pag naging healthy talaga siya. And I'm sure si Coach Tim nakikita naman yan. That's why slowly but surely sinasama niya sa rotation that can give Japet or Christian or even Justin time to rest, diba? And we're trying a big lineup also sometimes. During the course of the game, he can be part of that core also, that group also. Kasi Sydney is he's a stop. He's tough. He can shoot outside. He can do a lot of things. He can play multiple positions in our team. And the most important thing with Sydney is his physicality on the defensive end that can stop and can defend imports, especially this conference.
LA, masasabi mo na ba that Barangay Ginebra is finally on the right track in terms of yung level of play ninyo, especially going into what's going to be a crunch time for you guys going into the playoffs?
Well, yung level ng game namin after this weekend, again, as I said earlier, nagkaroon kami ng blueprint or ng parang reflection sa past few games namin. Hopefully, tumaas yung level ng game namin, especially this coming weekend. We will face a tough team like NLEX and Rain or Shine. And it's a must-win for us. This next 2 games is really a must-win for us. So, I think we're in the right track. Malaking bagay na nagkaroon kami ng momentum. And this is the momentum. The last time we won back-to-back games was, I don't remember the last time we won back-to-back games, but at least yung confidence in team, nakita na may opportunity yung team namin to be in the right spot pagdating sa playoffs, especially this coming weekend.
As Ellie mentioned, must-win games for Barangay Ginebra. Watch out for Barangay Ginebra's next matchup as they face the NLEX Road Warriors this Friday, March 4, at the Smart Araneta Coliseum. LA, don't go away because...
Now, after the break, we'll talk about the new era in the city of brotherly love. How far can James Harden and Joel Embiid lead the Philadelphia 76ers? Keep it here. You're watching The Game. You're watching The Game. The new era for the Philadelphia 76ers has officially begun with James Harden and Joel Embiid leading their squad. Pao, take us through the Eastern Conference standings.
All right, so in the East, as you can imagine, the top looks hot. Miami Heat, Chicago Bulls, and the Sixers all close by each other, really, in the top three positions. Of course, in the fourth, Cleveland Cavaliers and Milwaukee, as well as Boston Celtics in a three-way tie, just a win away from the 76ers. And really, it's everyone's guess to figure out how the Eastern Conference will end up come playoff time.
It is time for us to project how far Harden and Embiid can lead the Sixers in the East. Still joining us for our discussion is four-time PBA Finals MVP LA Teniente Tenorio. LA, before we discuss about the first two games of Harden and the 76ers, gusto ko muna malaman, LA, are you a fan of James Harden moving to the Philadelphia 76ers?
Well, it's a good move, no? Ni James Harden, no? Actually ng Philadelphia, no? It was really a good move for the team. Napakalaki ng factor na ginawa ng team with James Harden moving to Philadelphia.
Alam mo, LA, ito so si James Harden, in his time in Brooklyn, averages around 10 assists per game. Now, 2 games with the Philadelphia 76ers, nag-average siya ng 14 assists per game. Do you think that, sa simula lang to, kasi syempre happy siya, good vibes lang sa Sixers ngayon, do you think that's sustainable yung 14 assists per game niya so far dito sa Philadelphia 76ers?
You know, Pao and De, I'm a fan of a guard and a big tandem. No, kasi ako hindi ko alam ba old school, but I find a guard and a big tandem sa isang team, mas malaki yung opportunity or yung chance na maging successful yung team. No, for me, that's mine. So I think the assist that Harden will get every game, I think that's normal. Mga more than 10 yan, 10 and more than 10 yan, and double digit talaga kagad yung sa assist nila. And why? Because the threat that James Harden has, and at the same time kay Joel Embiid, it's hard for them to defend it, especially if you're gonna defend them two-man game. No, especially in the NBA, there's no zone. It's hard. Siguro mas madadali ang bantayan sila if there's a zone defense in the NBA, but they don't have a zone defense in the NBA. So I think the combination and the tandem of James Harden and Joel Embiid will be really unstoppable. No, it's hard. It's gonna be hard to stop talaga. And
Oo. At you know what, Ellie, on that note, sinabi nga ni Joel Embiid, and I quote, "This is the most open
Yeah,
he's
I
ever
saw
been
See?
in his
Exactly.
NBA career." Oo, tama yan. And Bea, I actually want to ask you about this kasi syempre with the lineup, you obviously have si Harden and then si Embiid. But then the other guys, Tyrese Maxey, Matisse Thybulle, Tobias Harris, they fill in so many different needs for this Philadelphia team. Do you think that ngayon parang mas buo yung lineup nila going into this crucial part of the season?
You know, actually, Pao, I really have to agree with that because now they have a legitimate point guard. I mean, without Ben Simmons, that was the void that they needed to fill, and the fact that James Harden is now there, they filled that role with an all-star in James Harden. And you know, sky's the limit now. They're third in the East, but I think that with the standings really stacked right now, it gives them a little bit of an edge up against the other teams in the East.
All right, Bea, you can ask LA this last question. Syempre, the biggest question here will always go to LA. Ito,
Alright.
Bea,
Okay,
go.
so LA, ito yung pinakamahirap na question para sa'yo dapat, no? But LA, given that James Harden is with the East, so far they're 2-0, how far do you think the Philadelphia 76ers can go in the NBA season?
I think they're gonna go all the way to
Ooh.
I'm not gonna say the finals right away. Probably
Eastern Conference Finals
Eastern
ba yan?
Conference.
Eastern Conference Finals.
Okay,
Oh.
okay.
Eastern Conference Finals. I see the team, and you know, just to add lang what Bayes said a while ago, with those other players na cast of characters ng Philadelphia, yung mga kasi main focus is Joel Embiid and James Harden. If I were the other players on that team, my confidence level will go up because seeing James Harden and Joel Embiid. So I think the level of the team of Philadelphia will go up because of James Harden. So I think they're gonna go all the way to Eastern Conference Finals.
Alright, on that note, tignan natin yung standings ulit just to see kung who are the teams or who are the fans rather na aawayin ka LA. So you have the Miami Heat, Chicago Bulls, Cleveland Cavaliers, the Milwaukee Bucks, the Boston Celtics. Siyempre, nandiyan pa rin yung Brooklyn Nets at dark horses pa rin ang Charlotte Hornets, Atlanta Hawks, Toronto also on the bubble there as well. Pero alam mo, LA, itong Eastern Conference, it's like a bloodbath right now. Parang Western Conference dati. I wish we had more time to talk about it, LA. Pero maraming salamat. Thank you very much for being here to talk about Gilas, PBA at NBA. Grabe, sulit na sulit
I
talaga
know.
yung
Thank you,
pagbisita
LA.
mo sa amin.
Thank you so much again. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us. I'm Bea Daes-Fabros.
Catch us weeknights here on One News, One Sports, and One Sports Plus. I'm Paulo Del Rosario, and this has been The Game.